Hi, it's Nick here from Fairway First Golf, and I've got a club test today which is quite interesting. Single length irons. There's a few club tests on the internet currently for the Cobra irons and for Tom Wishon's Sterling set as well. And I've got a different set today. The one I've got is this one. This is, let's put it the right way up. There we go. It's the Pinhawk iron from Value Golf. And this has actually been out for a few years. This is the second set of these I've had. I had the first version. This is a new one here, and this is an interesting one because it's a little bit under the radar. Not many people talking about this one, so I thought I'd give it a hit and see what it does. The set I've got are from sand wedge to 4-iron in my specs, so I've gone for 37.5 inches. All the clubs the same lie, 64.5 degrees. I've gone for nice multicolour grips, different ones on each club. They're Avon Chamois Jumbos for my big hands. And the shaft, which I've chosen as well, is an FST 115 stiff shaft, which I know suits me pretty well. Why did I choose these? Well, simply because I thought it was interesting to see what they're going to do compared to the Cobras, compared to the Sterlings, and also because with Value Golf I can get these built to my exact specs, which is perfect. And I'll talk a little about the price later on, but I'm probably paying probably the half the price. This is going to cost me more or less half what it's going to cost to get a set of Sterlings or a set of Cobras. But obviously if they don't do the job, that's no good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit a few. I'm using Sports Coach software with ball tracking, so I'll be able to get distance, club head speed and so on. And let's see how they go. I'm going to record about 10 shots with each club, get rid of a few for my ropey swing, and let's look at the numbers. Now the things people are really interested in with single length irons, firstly is distance gapping. There's a big concern that because the irons are the same length, are they all going to go the same length? Now from experience this is not the case, and as you've seen the other tests out there, it's not been the case either. But let's see what we get. I'll be looking for about probably 10 meters or so, yards if you prefer, between my irons. Are they going to do it? The other question people have is the extremes of the set. Getting a 4-iron which is shorter than normal 4-iron up in the air, how easy is that? Let's see. For an average golfer like me, now I'm not a professional golfer, I'm currently sitting around just outside single figures, so I'm pretty average. So I think I'm the target audience for these clubs, and I want to see if they work for me. Here we go. Let's start with, well, let's try a few with a sandwich. Yeah, so address, it's a nice looking club head. It's probably put it in game improvement, I suppose. It's definitely not a plate. It's got a cavity in the back, which you can see there, and obviously the same throughout the set. The only thing differing is the loft. Yeah, it's not a super game improvement either. It's something which is going to suit a lot of golfers. Soles not too thick. There's some offset, but not huge. Top line as well is well, it's certainly thick, but it's not enormous. It's not going to be off-putting for many golfers unless you're a real blade player or you really need a lot of help. Sitting down behind the ball looks nice. There's something funny about looking at 37.5 inches along with 55 degrees of loft, but it actually doesn't make me that uncomfortable. I think the idea is going to be concentrating on having the same swing for each club. Let's have a look. So a nice easy sandwich, let's have a look. That one's going okay. Alright, let's try switching straight away to something else. There we go. Move straight on down to a 9-iron, which is essentially the same club. I mean, again, looking behind it, it doesn't look that off-putting really for a 9-iron. A bit longer than usual, but not enormous. Ball in the middle of the stance. Let's have a look. That's pretty good, nice and straight down the line. It's rare for me. It feels nice, feels solid, feels forgiving as well. Feels like I can hit it a little bit all over the place. What's that, 9-iron, 117 meters, so 130 yards, which is right for me for a 9-iron. That's where my 9-iron sits. That's pretty good gapping. Let's just try one more, and then I'll get into some more testing. So here we've got a 5-iron. There he is. Again, same offset, medium, thick there, same cavity in the back. Top line again, not huge. And this one sitting behind the ball looks pretty friendly actually. Doesn't look like it's going to be hard to hit. The shorter length certainly makes it look inviting. That's how we go. Middle of the stance, let's try the same swing. Yeah, it's nice, very nice. Feels good. Easy to hit. Okay, right. I'm going to go on with some testing. I'll have 10 shots with each one. I'll keep the better ones because there's going to be a few mishits in there, and we'll try and get an average. Let's look at gap in, and I'll give you my impressions afterwards. So here we go, first results. What I hit was sand wedge down to 6 iron. You can see them going sand, gap, pitch, 9, 8, 7. Ignore the 6 iron, in fact, sorry, down to 7 iron. The 6 iron's not the right results, for some reason got some extra results in there. I'll hit the 6 with a 5 and the 4 just after this. So if we look at the results, first thing that strikes me is the gapping is actually pretty good. Looking at distance, sand wedge 87 metres, so that's 95 yards. And then we're going up, 11 metres, 12 yards, the same 11 metres to 12 yards. There I've got pitch to 9 is 8 metres, so 9 yards or so. 9 to 8 is a bit of a bigger gap, 17 metres is 20 yards. But again, that's only on a couple of shots, 3 or 4 shots, so that still seems to me to be okay. 5 metres from 8 to 7, so perhaps that 8 is a little bit strong. If you look at carry, it's a bit closer in fact, maybe there's just a bit more roll there simply. One thing I found interesting is ball speed and club speed in fact. We've got the same clubs, same length, same lie, everything, same head weight, and I found myself swinging faster with what would be the longer clubs in theory. So the 7 iron I've got 180 kilometers an hour, sand wedge 132 kilometers an hour. In terms of ball speed, so club speed again, if you look at that, sand wedge is 118 kilometers an hour ball speed, club speed, and the 7 iron is nearly 140 kilometers an hour ball speed. So again, same stance, I was putting the ball in the same place, but I found myself swinging harder with a 7 iron than I did with a sand wedge, which is interesting. Let's not look at my outside to inside swing on an open face, which is not very good. There we go. Another one which is interesting was the spin. The spin numbers are high. Sand wedge there 10,000, the pitching wedge at 11,000, which seems to me to be huge. Even 7 iron at 8.5, and 7 iron at nearly 9. In fact, 8,991 is the 7 iron. So obviously a lot of spin there. I hit a high ball anyway, so perhaps that's it. But it does seem to be more spin. Didn't seem to affect carry numbers because that's pretty much what I'd expect. So there we go with the 4 iron, 5 iron and 6 iron down here. First numbers are obviously the total distance and then carry distance. Now obviously these are not going to be exact and inside in the simulator. Hopefully I'm not going to get quite that much roll on a 6 iron for example. But they seem about right in terms of total distance, but normally more of that would be carry outside I think. Again, gapping is really not too bad, especially if you look at the carry. 135 with a 6 iron, 147 meters, so 160 yards I suppose, with a 5, 153, so again 170, so you're looking about 10 yards between them there. Again, the interesting one, ball speed. Same club, same swing, 177 kilometers an hour, and up to 190 and 197 for the 4 iron. Skip across again and have a look at, sorry, shadows in the way. Spin numbers, again, spin numbers are fairly high. Again, 6 iron spinning at 8,000. That's certainly some of it from my swing. Now, probably take these numbers with a pinch of salt. My swing today was absolutely horrible. I was hitting it all over the club head. I'll see if I can find some of the marks on the clubs maybe, which might be interesting to see. Let's have a little look and see if we can see, hopefully, see if we can pick these up on video. We're going to have to pick them up or not. Maybe you can. If you can see there's marks all over the club face. I think terrible winter swing, and I've literally been hitting it all over the place. And the results have still been pretty good. I hit probably, I don't know, 50, more than 50 shots there, and I didn't get rid of a load of them. Surprisingly enough, the one club that did give me a few problems was the 6 iron. I don't know why, maybe it just got in. So, review finished. Overall, what do we think? Nice, very nice. I'm a fan of the idea of single length. It's something that does work. I think if you taught someone to play golf who never played before, it's what they would expect, everything the same length. How did it work out for me? As I said before, the swing today wasn't great. You can see from the numbers, and you'll see them on my site as well. The gaps were good, the gaps were there. I was hitting it all over the face. The clubs were well made, and they have certainly given me some forgiveness today, because I think with a more demanding set, I would have really been in trouble. I did see a few things that were interesting. When I looked at my swing speed, it's going up from, if I get the numbers, it was 144 kilometers an hour with the 4 iron, so we're looking at something like 90 miles an hour with a 4 iron, and maybe 75 miles an hour with a sand wedge. Now again, those numbers aren't necessarily surprising, but when you think about the fact that the irons are the same length, perhaps they are a little bit. I certainly found myself swinging harder with the 4, 5 and 6. Maybe that's just, I think it's a mental thing. I think the more you play with these irons, the easier it gets. Just putting the ball in the same position, the same swing. Now, again, as you might have seen from the first couple of swings I took, my swing isn't the greatest. It's an amateur swing. So the results I got are dependent on my swing, which is not perfect, my swing speed, which is much slower than Rick Shields or Mark Crossfield or whoever else you might see reviewing the clubs. I struggled, I think, with 4, 5 and 6, especially maybe the 4 distance gaps maybe got a little bit smaller, simply because I don't have that club head speed maybe to get the 4 iron in the air that length, or possibly I was going after it more than I needed to as well. What do I think about that? But well, the obvious answer is a hybrid. The one thing about these Pinhawk irons is Aaron from Value Golf, he makes a hybrid as well, and I think if I was doing this again I would definitely get the 4 hybrid instead of the 4 iron, and in fact he's coming out with a complete hybrid set now as well, so I'd probably go for 4, 5, and honestly even 6, even a 6 I might replace it with a hybrid, because I think it'll just be so easy to hit. I surprisingly really enjoyed the shorter irons in a single length. I really enjoyed the single irons in a shorter length, because I found it comfortable. Sometimes I feel like I'm hunched over the ball with a sand wedge, or with a pitching wedge, or with a gap wedge, and it wasn't the case here. For me it was comfortable just to take a normal posture, normal swing, and I found them very, very easy to hit. From sand all the way down to 7, just very, very easy. Again, I think with putting them with hybrids in 6, 5 and 4, I would have pretty close to a perfect set. I'll put all those numbers on the site, Fairway First Golf, with a few more impressions and a few photos of the club heads as well. I definitely urge you, if you're interested in clubs at all, to go over to Value Golf and have a look. I love it. It's an interesting place for any golfer, simply because you've got so much choice. You can build your own clubs, you can choose lie, loft, you can choose shaft and grips and combinations, and obviously price is a funny one, but it's going to depend on what you get. But let's say that the spec, as I did, these irons, which were the shaft upgrade that I wanted, bent to my lie, and also grip upgrade, I've got paying less than $60 a club. Now that's unbeatable compared to any others. Now you might say, well, this is not the same club, but really I've got clubs that are on spec. I check the weight of the clubs, the length, the lie, spot on. I've had clubs from a lot of different manufacturers, and it's not always the case. Some are very, very good, and some can actually be a long way away. We all know that there's a lot of hype that goes into golf club manufacture. Here there's a little bit less, but I think it's easy on your wallet as well. You've got probably, for a set of 4 to sand wedge, well made, top materials, performing really as well as anything else out there in a similar sort of bracket, you're going to be paying half the price, which is tough to argue with. Next video coming up, I'll be comparing this set, I think, with the original Pinhawks, which will be an interesting one, and then perhaps, so you can just see how they compare for me, I'll compare this set with a standard set as well, and see if the distance gaps, in particular spin numbers, are any different, and also some impressions. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.